Hey, welcome to Roller Hockey Today. I'm your host, Michael Hunt. Want to welcome everybody to our, we'll call it our 1A launch of Roller Hockey Today. We put out a broadcast yesterday, and it was sort of a soft trial, get everybody to kind of know who I am and give you a little background about the sport. I do want to say right off the bat that I'm having a bit of a wardrobe malfunction. I got this amazing CrossFit shirt from the boys at La Beta in California, in Lake Elsinore. They are a wheel sponsor, and they obviously looked at my upper body and said, well, we've got a boys extra small for you that'll fit perfect. And people think that I CrossFit. I don't. And there's some sort of a washing stain here, like I don't know, some sort of rust color. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Anyways, I'm not changing my shirt. It's 12,000 degrees at the corporate headquarters of CCRH, so we're going to roll with that. And just so you've got that a lot. And I was getting a lot of chirps from the boys in New York about the Red Sox hat. Obviously they're gearing me and feeding me a little bit of that. I don't care. I don't like the Yankees. Everybody knows I'm a Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, and Celtics fan. Everything from Boston. Everything else really, and the Jets, and everything else doesn't really matter. So you're going to have to live with the Red Sox hat, because other than that, you get my bald head, and it really shines on the deal here, so we don't need to blind anybody. So that's it for the wardrobe. We are going to, I don't know how long this is going to take, maybe 15, 20 minutes. I don't know how long these are going to go. Today's at 1 o'clock. Moving forward, I think we're going to move it later in the day due to, people are working, kids are in school. I really want kids to see this because it's going to be, geared towards them. So today will be just some housekeeping things, some information, and we'll go over some equipment because we are going to post this later so people can watch this afterwards. So I would like to get into some of the companies that are making this happen for us and our partners. First, again, like yesterday, the Manitoba Sports Network and Glenn Mumford, who offers this amazing avenue and venue to come out here and talk about stuff. Couldn't do it without them, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of that. There's a few lists of companies here. I just want to read them real quick, and I also want these companies to look at talking with Glenn about possibly advertising on his radio network and his sports network, because I think it's a great fit for most of these guys. Maybe not the California guys, but everybody else. So right off the top, La Beta Wheels, Rob Chernymod out in California is our wheel sponsor. Phenomenal. He's been a partner of ours for a long time. We really appreciate him. Alkali Hockey with Joe Cook. Joe's been a dear friend of mine forever, and he's supported just about everything we've done, and much appreciated to Joe. Tour Hockey with Chad Siebel and Thomas Woods. Thomas been a teammate. Chad's been a teammate. Played against them. They run Tour Hockey. Canada Inline with Ben Frank and Mika Trepanier. Those guys are top notch. So they run all of Canada's programs and the national teams and allow me to coach. So we always mention them. Locally, we've got Darren Gentis from Pita Pit with 2 locations on Regent and on Ellis. VCJ Electrical with Jen and Jeff Hunt. Really good people. Love those guys as well. And Electrotech, which is run by Victor Hunt. No relation. I worked for Victor for a long time and in the electrical world, and he's always supported everything we've done. So also Carmelina's Lash and Body Sugaring. That's my wife Millie. She does body sugaring and eyelash extensions. Those are amazing. So if you have that woman in your life that you want to get something special for, please contact her. She's on Facebook as well. Summer Skates as well. Silver Heights Restaurant, Tony and JC. Phenomenal guys. We spend a lot of time there. What else we got here? We've got Wise Guys Auto Sales as well with Samantha and Holly. We've got the boys at Royal Sports. We've also got I believe Tommy Goodfellow and Goodfellow Real Estate. Richie Evans from Bauer Hockey, and of course, finally, we have Moss Electric with Aaron Moss and 2.0, 1.0, his employees. They are amazing people. So I want to thank everybody who has supported our programs, and Goodfellow and Lind Real Estate. Pardon me, I forgot to add that last part there. Lastly, before we get started, I want to send a shout out to my sister Jackie, who has launched a new project called the Kindred Project. Starting on Saturday, they are going to be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at all the food fair locations around the city of Winnipeg, collecting donations for women's feminine protection needs, feminine wipes, pads, tampons, all kinds of things that women need that are struggling to get those things. I know it's not a very popular topic to discuss all the time, but everybody who plays hockey, whether it's male or female, have females, sisters, wives, moms, grandparents in our lives, and it's a very big need for people, and there's a lot of people that don't have it. It's basic stuff that people need. So they're going to be collecting that at the food fairs all over Winnipeg on Saturday. So if you can get down there and whatever you can donate, great. If it's money you want to donate, 100% of the proceeds go to go to those products. And I believe the gentleman that owns the food fairs will be taking the money in and not adding any markup. So he's going to be giving them the products at cost. So if you can support the Kindred Project, please do so this Saturday from 9 till 2 o'clock. So that, I believe, is the housekeeping. So we're here. I was going to have some amazing entrance music. Shipping off to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys was going to be the lead-in. Then I got the call, the trademark call, and they can't do that, and Facebook might pull it down. And it's almost worth it because Dropkick Murphys are phenomenal, and that's a great lead into our show with the Boston theme. So maybe I'll just sing it on Thursday's show. I'm sure everybody will be excited for that. So let's have a little review. Again, I'm Michael Hunt. I won't get into a ton of what we got into yesterday, but I now run roller hockey in all of Manitoba. We had an amazing first year running it out of Maginot. This year we are going to have, I just talked to the city 20 minutes ago, and I just found out that there may be some bright lights in the horizons, if that even makes sense, about getting a year-round facility sometime post-January, February of this year. But in the meantime, we're going to have a backup plan like we did last year. We're going to have Maginot, and they're also going to put us in another facility. So we'll have 2 rinks running in the spring for all our events, including our national championships and all our events. So we're really looking forward to that. Again, I've got 20 years in the sport, a manufacturer with a wheel company. I've owned a facility in Massachusetts. I've coached every level from squirts all the way to pros and Team Canada. We've brought this great game back to Winnipeg, and it's a game that all your kids and even your adults, boys and girls, should be playing to help you get better as a standalone roller hockey player, as an ice hockey player. We have a ton of NHL guys that are on board with our group to help promote the sport in our city, and that's phenomenal to be able to drop a few of the NHL guys who credit the game to helping them get to the next level. We also are looking at getting our new website, which I was discussing this morning. So I know when you go to CCRH.ca, you will notice that it's a Wix website, and it served its purpose in year 1. Year 2, as we move into PowerPoint or PowerPlay International with up-to-date stats and higher content and more high-definition video and things like that, we are going to be moving into a more professional, better-looking, a better-looking, presentable website, and which is easier to navigate and things like that. So we are really looking forward to this year. We cannot do it without our investment backers and also our sponsors, which we really appreciate. And if you're a company out there, you're a player who owns a company, or you're a dad or a mom, or you have connections, please pass on our information. We have a ton of kids who can't afford to play ice hockey, and so we've introduced roller hockey, which is so inexpensive, but there's still families that can't even afford that. So every dollar that comes into our organization, every dollar goes to skates or rink time or scholarship, whatever we can do to help kids get off the streets, find a better path in life through sport, and be better members of the community. We want good students. We want good members of the community. We want good athletes. We want kids to be active. And our sport, roller hockey, if you're not in the know, like we've said all along, then you don't know. Like, you know what you know. It's the stupidest saying in the world. Oh, I know what I know. Yeah, we get that. Everybody knows what they know, and you don't know what you don't know. I'm here, and our group is here to educate our hockey players, our ice hockey players, on the benefits of roller hockey. And, we're going to come Tuesdays and Thursdays here. If Glenn lets me come on here every single day, I'll tie up his airways all day long talking about the sport, because I could talk about it 24/7. We are well-intentioned. We are looking to give opportunities to families who can't afford the high cost of ice hockey. We are looking to give avenues for players to move from various sports to come try a different sport that's going to be beneficial to you in a million different ways. The opportunities that this sport offers outweighs any other sport you can play. Like I said, you can play now high school, you can play middle school, you can play elementary school, you can play for Team Canada, you can play provincially, you can go to tournaments in the States such as State Wars run by Tim McManus, you can go to NARCH, the North American Championships run by Darren Goodwin, Too Hot for Ice, tours. There's just a ton of events that you can go play. You can play for Michigan, USC, Lindenwood, Bethel. You can play in NCAA colleges and get US 4-year degrees playing roller hockey. These are just different things that you are able to do through this sport that you'd have no idea about. And it's a different avenue for your kids to get a better path in life, and that's why we're here. So, again, won't get too much into what we got into yesterday. I think I've taken up enough of that time. So let's get on with what we're going to do today. Again, roller hockey, it's 4-on-4. It's no icing, no offsides. It's a free-flowing game. It's a creative game. Your kids should be playing it, and even some of the adults. If you want to play, we've got the adult leagues as well. Equipment. People ask us all the time, well, what kind of equipment do you use? Well, you use hockey equipment. You can use everything to start out with that you would use except for skates. And I've got one pair of skates here, which I'll show you, and they're Bauers, and they're the ones I currently use right now. And as you can see, they look exactly like a pair of ice hockey skates, except the high performance chassis and, of course, the Lebeda wheels. You don't put any other wheels on skates other than Lebeda, just so you know. They are the world's best. Rob Chernomod gives back to this sport, and the Lebeda brothers and the whole group gives back to this sport like hardly any other companies, and they're amazing. So their wheels are the ones that we go with. But this is what the skate is. And as you can see, in line, they're obviously 4 wheels in line, high performance chassis, and a ice hockey / roller hockey boot. So that is your skate. All right. As I mentioned, I showed you some of the wheels on there. I've got a couple of other wheels to show you. This is what a roller hockey wheel looks like, and there's the profile. Okay, so you look at that, and it's made of urethane. And the thing about roller hockey wheels, about 20 years ago, when RHI Roller Hockey International was going on, and they played in all the NHL facilities. I don't know if you remember that. You can Google it. It's amazing to see some of these. Like the Anaheim Bullfrogs were playing at the Anaheim Pond, and they were getting 15,000 people a game. And they were playing on concrete, and ESPN at the time, or ESPN2 at the time, said, well, you can't really see the floor, so they painted it blue, so you could, so it would look a little bit more like an ice surface. But what they were finding is the wheels were slipping out on the concrete. So then they went to Sport Court, and I don't have a Sport Court piece here with me today, but essentially it's made of the same material as a Bare aspirin bottle. I'm going to guess it polyethylene. I may be wrong on that, but these are urethane, and they're made from urethane. And how you get to emulate everything you do on the ice with a wheel is you make the urethane a certain hardness, and that's called durometer. So the durometer of a wheel, okay, the softer the durometer, the more grip you get. Okay, so if you're playing indoors on Sport Court, you want a really soft wheel because you want to be able to cut and turn on the Sport Court. And the Sport Court isn't going to tear up a wheel like if you were to take a soft wheel on concrete, tennis court, or asphalt. Lebeda has wheels, of course, to facilitate those needs. They just make the durometer harder, which means the wheel is harder and it lasts longer and it won't get torn up on those. For us, we play on Sport Court, so we want a really nice durometer, low durometer wheel, so we can grip on the floor. Now, people ask all the time, and this is one of Lebeta's gripper wheels. This is a mid-price point wheel. You can get into their really top-end wheels, which are just top-notch. A lot of the pros use them. I'm fortunate to use those. So different various wheels you can use. But the key is trying to convince and to explain to ice hockey people, why roller hockey, and it's a sport of you're floating and you can't stop, and you gotta do you have a brake on your skate? Again, they don't know what they don't know. This game is so man, it's the love of my life. I don't know any other way to tell you this. If everybody could have experienced what I've lived through the trials and tribulations of growing up playing high-level ice hockey and being too small and being too short and not weighing enough and getting absolutely murdered on the rink, body checked, and not growing. I grew to 6'1", 215 pounds when I was 18, 20. By that time my time was gone. And when I found this game, it allowed me to be the creative player that I always wanted to be. It also got me away from the major body contact and the hitting, because there's no hitting in the game. So I was able to use my creative brain and my creative skill set to become like what I would say would be a pretty decent hockey player. I'm not the best and I'm not the worst, and I've been fortunate to play for Team Canada, and a ton of my buddies and all the guys I met around the world that play this game, every single one of those guys, I'm telling you, will pick this game over ice hockey. That is how great this game is. So so when I have an ice hockey guy come up to me, or a parent or a guy who runs a league and says, roller hockey. I remember being at Rhode Island Indoor Sports, and I was doing some wheel testing, and it just so happened that the University of Rhode Island hockey team was doing dry land in the facility at the time, and the coach came over, because I was skating up. I was actually training for Team Canada at the time. This was in 2003, maybe 2004, and so I'm skating and I'm doing my this and that, and the head coach, and forgive me, I forget his name, it's inconsequential. He came over, he opened up the gate, and he asked, he said, "Hey, listen, what is this?" And I told him, and he says, "Yeah, I've heard about this." He says, "But you can't stop or anything like that." And I said, "Well, why don't you come onto the rink, stand there, and don't move, and I want to show you about stopping." And I circled, and I'm not as old as I am now, so I had a little bit more jump in my stuff, but I came at him full speed, and I jammed on the brakes just like you do in ice hockey, sideways, and I stopped on a dime right at his feet. And he looked at me and he said that, and I'll never forget it, because it changed my perception on how I explain this game to people. And he said, he says, "I've been in hockey a long time." He says, "I have never in my life seen anything like what you just did." He says, "This opens up opportunities for our ice hockey, for our programming in our school, the University of Rhode Island, and the way that we're going to think about training and working to build our ice hockey program." And sure enough, the very next year, University of Rhode Island Rams had a team in the National Collegiate Roller Hockey Association. And I'm not sure if they're there still. I imagine they probably still are. And I think it was from that meeting probably helped it along. An ice hockey guy through and through at the NCAA Div 1 division. And he came over, and one little stop technique on wheels proved to him that this sport is viable. So when you're an ice hockey guy and you're sitting around going, "Wow, this and that," listen, try it. You can do everything you can on a roller hockey floor that you can in ice hockey. There's no give. The stride is exactly the same. Sometimes, if you're playing on concrete, you might lose a little bit at the end because you'll slip out. But on sport court, everything is the same except the rules, which allows for more creativity. So that's all we'll talk about that for now. Now, how do you play the game? Do you play it with a ball? Some places do. I don't consider that real. Or do you play with a puck? And we have 3 examples of pucks that we use to play roller hockey. Now, the first thing, we have IDS, we have the Rocket Puck, Eddie Lombega, phenomenal puck, the Rocket Puck, and obviously the new puck that's used at World Championships, which is still net. We use the Rocket Puck a lot. I like to support guys that are in the sport, that run programs, that run leagues, that represent their country. Eddie Lombega has been an ambassador for this sport out of the Huntington Beach facility in California, plus his other rinks. He owns pro shops. He designed, I think he designed this puck. I know that he runs the puck, and we support that. And so we're very happy to have a partnership with Rocket Puck. And I actually forgot to mention that at the beginning. So that's the puck we use. But what I want you to notice about the puck is unlike a traditional ice hockey puck, we need to be able to slide a puck on a floor. Now, if I took an ice hockey puck and slid it on the floor, because there's no air flowing under the puck, it's going to stop and it's going to flip, roll, bounce, and you can't really use an ice hockey puck for roller hockey. You'll notice the little nubs on here. I could be like, speak and spell here and point to them. There they are, the nubs. So what that does, if you look at it like that, you'll see that they nub out a little bit at the bottom and at the top. And what that does when you're on a floor is that creates airflow. So when you slide the puck, there's air underneath, which allows the puck to emulate an ice puck on a floor. So everything that you see an ice puck, a roller hockey puck can do. But because there's a little friction, it does take a little bit more skill and effort to stick handle and to work this puck. This puck weighs, I believe, 5 ounces, 4.85 ounces. Eddie can correct me on that. An ice hockey puck weighs between 5.5 and 6 ounces. So these pucks are a little bit lighter. And let me tell you, if you can shoot an ice hockey puck with any kind of velocity, these things you can just let fly. Goalies. I got one guy, Derek Curlin, who plays in our beer league team, who comes out every once in a while and cries and complains about us firing these pucks, 100, 104 miles an hour on them and sniping them bar down most of the day. But other than that, goalies are goalies, and they're their own deal. So, but anyway, so there's your puck. You use these pucks; they emulate just like an ice hockey puck, and honestly, they're what makes our game great. The still mat puck, similar idea, is used in the World Championships for furs. I'm not sure. I think IIHF uses the IDS puck, which is this puck right here. So, like anything else, there's always market competition for pucks. I know Narch State Wars. I think Narch State Wars also use the rocket puck exclusively for their events. So, there gives you a little bit of an idea about equipment. Now, people always ask, well, what kind of pants do you wear? We have, and I think I got them here. So I don't have any other pants than what I've got sitting right here, but they're a long pant, and you can see that the knees are reinforced. So it's not like if you land on ice. It's not like when you land on ice where you slide. When you land on the floor, you do slide a little, but you tend to stick a little more. So you try not to fall too much. So you wear a long pant, it's cooler, it's not the big bulky ice hockey pant. You wear a light girdle underneath for protection. Most adults don't wear shoulder pads. We wear elbows, gloves, obviously helmets, shin pads, things like that. So, but for kids that are just trying out, full ice hockey gear is perfectly acceptable, and no one's going to make fun of you because most people are wearing them, especially when you're in a new market. And then we'll introduce new products through our sponsors on how to get longer pants and things like that. So that's basically what your equipment needs are. So I hope that was a bit of information that answers some questions to some people. And if you have any questions on equipment, please just let me know, because we have all the people who can take care of all of your needs and get you dialed in for that. But for right now, ice hockey gear is fine with proper inline skates and of course Lebeda indoor soft durometer wheels. So with that, before I go any further, I'd like to thank two of my potential sponsors. We're going to see which one wants it. It's either going to be Tim Hortons. Excuse me. Delicious. Or if they don't want to come on board, Starbucks, making a great product. One of you guys can call me, and we'll get one of you dialed in. Timmy's or Starbucks? Just let us know. Okay, back to the program. So one of the big things that we've got going now is, and I can't believe that I'm able to do this, is we are introducing the very first high school roller hockey program. And the beautiful thing about this is that none of the high schools know it yet. We're just getting ready to launch. I've got permission from the Manitoba High School Athletic Association to go directly to the schools and introduce this. Now, where this idea came from is the schools, surprisingly, is where all the kids are at. So instead of Mike traveling to all these little rinks and hopefully catching 5 or 10 teams, I'm going right to schools. So I've got permission to go to the high schools. I haven't yet got permission to go to the elementary schools and the middle schools, but I have a feeling that I will be able to do that if I bring the secretary's coffee and get in the front door that way. So anybody who's out there that is working the secretarial area of a middle school or an elementary school, send me a private message, tell me what you take in your coffee, and I'll be swinging by. So, the high school league. I played in the very first high school in Manitoba in 1985, I think. It might have been 86. I think it was 85. The very first high school ice hockey tournament that was played at Dutton Arena. I think we had 8 teams. I was playing for the John Taylor Pipers at the time. We didn't have any uniforms. We were wearing old RCMP uniforms. The jerseys came down to our knees, and we won that tournament. And from that event, it has, morphed into this unbelievable city program, provincial program. What we have found, and I touched on this yesterday, is that the high schools, Sisler, for example, I talked about this yesterday, 2,500 to 3,000 school kids in the school, 1 or 2 hockey teams. I think there's a Division 1, Division 2, boys and girls. So let's say at the maximum 3-4 teams. So you're talking maybe 70, 75 kids that get to play out of 2,000, 3,000 kids. So roller hockey, we are going to offer a high school division that starts in April, May, and June, 3 months, 15-game season, plus playoffs. We're going to have a jamboree style, April 14th and 15th. We're going to have a jamboree style opening weekend where every team will play 3 games, sort of like a tournament setting. We'll have corporate booths set up. We'll have all kinds of different things going on. So we'll do that. Every team that's in the program will play 3 games, and then we will have our regular season going through till June. And middle of June, I think we're going to have our championship weekend where we will have the whole, just like a jamboree again. We'll have best of 3s, best of 5s. We're going to make sure that the money spent from our families and our student athletes is value, and they get value. I'm working with my partners on uniforms. I can tell you this, that the cost is going to be $375 per player, and out of that you're going to get a home and away and a pair of inline hockey pants. That is a value that you can, I don't even know if I'm going to make money doing that. I don't care. I want this to be introduced to this province, not only for the city of Winnipeg. We want rural teams. I'm going out to the rural areas to see if we can get high school, middle school, elementary school teams, and we are gonna make this grow. I mean, think about it. We're intentionally doing this after the high school ice hockey season ends, and where we're going after, and the groups that we're going after, are the spring hockey, because spring ice hockey. I talked about this yesterday. And take this respectfully, because I ran a program, and I stopped running my program after 1 year because I physically, mentally, and consciously couldn't do it to my families anymore. Hard-working families, I don't know how many people make 6 figures. If you do, God bless you. Great, I'm happy for you, and you probably earn every penny of it. But if you don't make 6 figures, and you got 2 kids playing hockey, and you've got to go to spring hockey, and you got to lay out about $7,000 per kid for your 4 tournaments and your registration fees and your uniforms and the jacket that says AAA for mom and dad to wear around the office. Can't forget that, the AAA spring hockey logos. You want to pay $7,000 for 10 practices and 4 tournaments, have at it. For $7,000, I dare say you can probably play 13 years in my program and get more out of it. And if you don't believe me, just please talk to Pat Maroon and Brandon Bolig and TJ Oshie and all these other guys. Just talk to those guys and ask them about roller hockey, as we've discussed. So you're gonna get for $375. You're gonna get the 2 jerseys. You're gonna get $375, 2 jerseys, pants, 15-game schedule, and then you're gonna get your playoffs, your jamboree, and your playoffs. We're also going to give you 3 practices per school per team included in that. If the team wants to practice any more than that, we'll be more than happy to do it at a reasonable discounted rental price for the floor. So if you think about that, we are going to have our first high school roller hockey program running in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and Manitoba. We want to also include the middle schools. Great feeder system for the high school program. And there's not a lot of middle schools that offer hockey programs. So how great would it be for a grade 6, a grade 7, and a grade 8 to represent their middle school, like, Hedges Junior High, excuse me, all these different middle schools. I forget all of them. I'm old and I haven't been here a long time. But I know Hedges because I went there. But you have a middle school program, and then elementary. How many elementary schools have a hockey program where kids can go play for very reasonable amounts of money and represent their school? So this also, we know, and most people know that if you play sports and you play sports for your school, that you're more apt to stay in school. There's always, the restrictions of you need to do well in school to continue to participate in school sports. But there's also a lot of other things that are on the table here too for this sport. There's two events called, one event, State Wars, which is run by Tim McManus, and they have a national championship that's run in the States, and we're going to offer. I don't know yet if they have the high school division. They may or may not. I can't remember, and forgive me, Tim, for not knowing that. But our champions from our high school, our middle school, and our elementary school programs are going to be invited to go to State Wars for Team Manitoba to go play in that division and that tournament. It's not something that is mandatory, but we're going to offer that for our kids. Also, every kid in our program is going to get an opportunity to try for Team Canada. We're sending 10 and under, 12 and under, 14U, 16, 18, 23U, senior men, senior women, junior men, junior women to Huntington Beach, California this year to play in the AAU Junior Olympics. So we're going to be sending all those age groups over there to California to play in the AAU Junior Olympics, and that is phenomenal. We're also sending a masters team to Italy again this year, over 38 and over 45 division team. See, this is the great thing about roller hockey. When you're done playing junior ice hockey, other than beer league, you're pretty much done. You can play roller hockey till you die. And the good Lord willing, you're going to have to drag and pry my skates off my cold, dead feet because I'm going to play until I can't anymore. So I'm fortunate still to play for Team Canada at the 38 and over level and the 45 and over age level. And the hockey is phenomenal. Bunch of ex-pros from Czechoslovakia, or Czech Republic, pardon me. Martin, I know it's the Czech Republic. I apologize. Martin's probably listening from the Czech Republic right now. So Czech Republic, Sweden, Russia, Italy, Slovaks, the Slovenians, Germany, the Swiss, the Americans, are all going to be there. And then, so that's amazing for us. And then the World Games are being played again this year. We're sending a senior men's team to Poland to play in the World Games. Again, the World Games, as mentioned yesterday, are the games that the Olympics look at, and they pick sports from that event and they introduce it to the Olympics. So when I played in 2005, we had 50,000 people in the crowd in Duisburg, Germany, and we came in as a country just like they do in the Olympics. They lit the torch. They hung the Olympic flag at the event. Who gets to do that as a hockey player other than NHL guys in the Olympics? I mean, this is opportunities, guys. So, you start what we're doing. We have our youth program, we have our adult program, we have our women's program. We now are introducing our elementary school program, our middle school, and our high school program. From there, you get to look at possibly going to U.S. colleges to get scholarships. From there, you get to go to these massive tournaments in the United States, and NARCH and State Wars. From there, you get to try out for Team Canada and travel the world from age 10 and under all the way until you're 50 if you're still able to. I mean, the opportunities of sport are ridiculous, okay? Not only that, on top of all the high school and all the stuff that we're launching there, we are also launching, with the help of Glenn Mumford and Morris, a Southeastern Manitoba Roller Hockey League for all the rural areas down in Winkler, Morris, Carman, Steinbach, Morden, Altona. We are going to have a spring roller hockey program down there for you guys. So we are going to be working closely with Glenn and some of the guys in the southeastern area, and we're going to start a roller hockey program for southeastern Manitoba as well. So you're going to have your own league, so you don't have to travel all the way to Winnipeg. We'd love if you do. We want your high schools involved, but if you're not playing in our high school league, we want you to get into one of these other leagues. And finally, before I go, actually going to discuss one more thing. Then we're going to get into my final plea, as we'll call it. One of the big things that is very, very near and dear to my heart. Some of you may or may not know, but our family comes from Métis descent, which means we are proudly members of the First Nation community. I have been fortunate, I guess that's the only word, to work with Mel Weitzel from MASRC, Manitoba Sport and Recreation Council, Manitoba Aboriginal Sport and Recreation Council, for the previous 5 years in the ice hockey capacity, going into First Nation communities, Norway House, Cross Lake, Fairford, Seguin, and running free instructional hockey camps for the kids of the First Nation communities. And, you know, man, I've never seen a group of people get such a stigma from outside areas. These are the nicest people that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. The families have taken us in wherever community we're in, fed us, allowed us to stay in their homes. You know, they understand that we're there to help and help their kids. We understand that there's a lot of issues in the First Nation communities, but there's a lot of amazing things going on there as well. And I encourage everybody to help out when you can. And one of the things that the CCRH, Central Canadian Roller Hockey Group, is doing is we are also going to look at the opportunity to start a northern roller hockey program for First Nation communities. We know that there's a lot of ice hockey rinks that are dormant up there right now due to the high cost of making ice, not having qualified people being able to make the ice, because there's a whole, it's almost like you have to get a college degree to run the Zamboni and making the ice and maintaining the ice and all this stuff. So it's not an easy thing to do, and there's not a lot of people that can do it or be able to take the time to do it. And plus, I think it's fairly expensive to take that course. So there's a lot of rinks that are sitting, you know, just dormant right now up in the northern communities, and we are looking to partner with our friends over at Stillmat. I talked to one of their representatives. I want to talk to their main guys and discuss with them maybe about cost of flooring, so we can, you know, put flooring up in some of these, you know, abandoned rinks and get the kids playing up there. And if we have to start on cement, then we're going to start on cement and work leagues up there. But there's a real good way to help the kids of the First Nation communities with finding a better path in life through sport. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's what we're about. You know, I get very emotional about that kind of thing because, you know, I go to these First Nation communities sometimes, and not only that, I go to all these rinks and you see kids on the sidelines who don't have equipment. And you know, Mel and MASRC have been incredible with their donations of their equipment. They collect equipment all year long, and you know, they'll fly it into a desolate location to get equipment, basic equipment to kids, face masks and helmets, skates. You know, you give a kid an opportunity to play sport, especially our national sport, and you've given them a life. And so we are going to look at starting a northern roller hockey program as well, which is so cost effective and would be a great thing for the kids up there. And so we're looking at that. So we're looking at the southern, you know, we'll set it up anywhere in Manitoba. This is a great sport. You know, as I end this, you know, like I said, this game is incredible. And we're going to come here every Tuesday and Thursday, and you're going to hear the passion in my voice and the love I have for this game. This is a game you should be playing. This is a game that you cannot afford not to try. Every player that's done it changes their life. It's a lifestyle sport. It's not just a niche sport. You know, when I used to coach my kids all the time, and people say, "Hey, what do you do?" You know, no matter what you do, if you're old, people ask me what I do. And to this day, at 48 years old, I'm a hockey player. I was born that way. I'll die that way. I'm a hockey player. And what's interesting is that what a lot of people don't know is that Hockey Canada has mandated that Canada has 1 million registered hockey players playing in Canada by 2022. And you would think with 30 million people, God, there's got to be 1 million people playing. Well, there's not even anywhere close to 1 million people playing. So much so that on that mandate, that Hockey Canada has said that they have 4 disciplines for that. It's ice hockey, it's ball hockey, sledge hockey, and roller hockey. All those registrations go to that number of 1 million. We need to work together to get our kids off the streets, to give them viable sport options. We need to stop making mom and dad pay through the teeth where they have to take out a second and third mortgage so their child can go play at the level that they want to play at, all with the dream of making it to the NHL. Listen, never ever take that dream away from the kids. They want to go, you do everything you can to support them to make sure they go. But make sure you as a parent and a coach also realize what the odds of that are happening and how to prepare that athlete to be a better player, realistic expectation, and where are there opportunities where an athlete can flourish. Our sport of roller hockey is one of those places. You just need to try it. You just need to try it, I'm telling you. So with that, I want to again thank all my sponsors. Thursday, I'm going to introduce an amazing product. One of our sponsors is Summer Skates. If you are not on these yet, the most comfortable sandal in the world. We can put your custom logo right on here, little embroidery guy. They last 2 years. They mold to your foot. When they get dirty, you just chuck them in the washing machine. How cool would this look with your logo on there? Looks pretty cool to me. I own about 6 pairs, but I've only worn one because they haven't worn out yet. So summer skates are going to be talked about next week. We're going to talk about World Championships not next week, on Thursday. It's only Tuesday. We're going to be talking about some of my friends overseas and some of the programs they're running. Some of the guys out in Vancouver, like Mika Trepanier, Jerry St. Cyr, the guys in Ontario. We might do a feature. I think I'm going to talk about a feature on Brett Leggett, Canada, and maybe the world's best inline goaltender. He doesn't know this yet, but I'm sure he's watching live, so we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about ways that you can help us. We're here to facilitate an amazing sport to our kids and families, and we want you to try them. So I hope you enjoyed the time. We'll see you here Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you have any suggestions, ideas, if you want to sponsor our program, please send me an email at huntsy, HUNTSY 15 @live.com. Go to our website at CCRH.ca. There's a link on there that you can get in touch with us with your contact information. You can call me at 204-807-1551. And I implore all my sponsors that sponsor CCRH to please get a hold of Glenn Mumford and the Manitoba Sports Radio Network that he is running. It's phenomenal, and it's reaching a ton of people, and it's only going to get bigger. So with that, I wish you a happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great time at the rinks, and remember to get in touch with me. Roller hockey today is done for today, but we will see you Thursday. Okay, guys, have a great day, and thank you.